Good afternoon, everyone. I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, the neutrality of life, the part between good and evil that nobody really talks about much. So if you look at the yin yang symbol, you see that the yin yang symbol kind of goes in the light and the dark and kind of merges in that way. But it's not really, I don't find it very accurate in the sense that when you walk in between the light and the dark, it is the balance of both. You're balancing the light and the dark side of yourself. So if an individual is able to balance that energy of the light and the dark, they are now in the middle of the yin yang symbol. And you can move from left to right depending. You can go into the light, you can go into the dark. But what is the meaning of all that? And I want to go into my higher self and ask some questions based around that idea about the importance of balance in one's life, the importance of temperance, the importance of all the things that you do. Should you abuse it? Should you not abuse it? There's so many things that people abuse in life. It could be food, it could be water, it could be pop, it could be candy, ice cream. There's so many things that we can abuse in this lifetime, including ourselves, other people. Like, where's the balance in all this? And what does that actually mean for the human race? So it's kind of like a wide open topic around that, because it is extremely complex. When you look at so many things in life and you start looking at the neutrality aspect of it, or the part, to be true neutral, you have to be an acceptance of both the light and the dark. But to me, it's not quite the way I see it. I see if you walk in the middle, you have both in balance, and either one isn't too much. Like, you could have somebody that the chaos is a perfect example. That's darkness out of balance. So you bring that into balance, and that becomes part of yourself. And then now you're walking in the middle. When you're able to walk directly in the middle, and you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere in the light and anywhere in the dark. But if you're simply just light, you can't go into the darkness, and the darkness can't go into the light. So when you're able to balance both sides of yourself equally, you're able to walk in both. And that makes you a very powerful being, because now you're just not limited to one or the other. You have both energies. And this is one of the things that they don't want you to know. They want you to fear the dark and only live in the light, instead of basically understanding the dark, understanding the light, and now you can live in both. And just because you live in the dark doesn't mean you're going to go kill people, because that's out of balance. Darkness isn't death. It is peace in itself. Like, if you go into a sweat lodge, for instance, is that about chaos, or is that about healing? So when you're in your mother's belly, it's peaceful, it's quiet. When you look at the stars at night, is it chaotic to be in the night, or is it peaceful? The true state of darkness is utter quiet and peace. And it's interesting. There's so many, I could go on for hours about so many aspects of that in itself. When we conquer the dark side of ourselves, in other words, we go into it, we bring it into balance, and then bring our light into balance, because you can't be judgmental about the dark. You can't be fearful of the dark, because that again is fear. It's off balance. But when we are in true balance of ourselves, we become something that they don't want us to become. Because the majority of people in this world do not understand that. They're raised to fear darkness and to only walk in the light. I disagree with that, and that's one of the reasons why we keep going in a circle over and over and over again. Because if you stay your heads in the clouds and never look at what is actually going on in other parts of the world inside yourself, you can't simply live in utopia surrounded by chaos, because eventually that chaos is going to find its way in. But if you temper everything in the world and bring everything into balance, it's lasting peace, it's lasting love, it's lasting. And that's the one thing they don't want, because there's no control when people are at peace. There's no control anymore. Because if everybody's at peace and harmony with each other, laws have very little meaning, because the laws of each other, of oneself, is eternal. And you don't need them anymore, because you're not out to seek out and kill and murder and rape. You're out to work together with harmony and peace with each other. And that is balancing both sides of yourself. Because you know what happens when the dark gets out of control. You know what happens when the light is out of control. You're able to walk the line of what true life and true purpose is. And I'm leaving it at that, because that's just kind of my thoughts on the subject. And I don't want to talk too much about that specific topic. I want to go into my higher self and ask that question about what is so important about the gray area of the yin-yang symbol that doesn't even show. They don't even show it. Why? Why is it only one or the other? Where is the third? Where is the gray? Where is the transition of light and dark? It simply doesn't go from light to dark instantaneously. There is a place in between that people don't talk about. And this is what the topic I want to really focus on today. So I instantly see dark. I see darkness actually on both sides, and there's a pinpoint of a light that goes in between both. And then when I walk into that, I see light. And I look behind me and I see a fine line of black. So when you're in the light, you really don't see the black, and when you're in the darkness, you don't see the light. This is what the first thing that's coming to me. So if you're not able to see anything except light or dark, then that anything else is not, you don't see it. You don't see anything else. So what is in between the light and the dark? And it instantly shows me an orb of, this is an orb that's an orb that's like this, and there's light on this side and there's dark on this side. And it's like, so this is the dark and this is the light, and there's an orb that's in between both that is actually quite large. And it actually is shaped like an oval for a reason. And the light and the dark do not touch at the top. They have to go into the orb. So the orb itself actually stops the light and dark from touching, because they cannot touch. It's like matter and antimatter. They cannot touch or they'll explode. So when light and dark touch, they will explode. This is what he's showing me. So they have to be constantly kept apart. This is true darkness and true light. They are the opposite of each other, and they will explode if they touch. So there has to be something in between. And that something in between is I see a mouth that's stitched closed, or a mouth that has no lips at all. So it's simply just nothing. You don't talk about this space. Shh. Don't speak of it. It is forbidden. But why is it forbidden? And when I say that, I see a bunch of butterflies fly up into the air. And the butterflies will fly up and fly up and fly up and fly up until they disappear. True freedom is the understanding of everything. So you cannot be free if this area is hidden from the world. Because this area is so important that it keeps the destructive natures of both from touching each other. It is literally if it's like literally you have two avatars of a dark and an avatar of light, and there's also an avatar that keeps them separated from each other, and will walk in and literally push them apart to keep them from killing one another or destroying one another or destroying everything. This specific role or this specific purpose is forbidden to know. Because when you know this and you understand it, you understand, and then all of a sudden there's a complete circle, and you see like a yin-yang symbol, and you see, instead of actual like this perfectly fine line, you see that the yin-yang symbol is stretched in the center, and at the top in the middle the light and the dark don't touch, and that area in between, it says power to change the world. When you understand this, you understand how to change the world. And that's the part they want you not to know about. They don't want you to understand that if you work with this energy, you're able to go into the light and the dark equally. You're able to control the light and the dark. You are one with both. And now your soul understands both. And now you are half light, half dark. But you're also, I would just going to use the word gray. You now have three aspects of yourself, not just two. And when you're in the gray, you can reach into both light and the dark and control it. It's like a control center. That's what they want us to understand. When you walk in the middle of light and the dark, you are in control of both. And it's the control center of your life, of what it is that you do in your life. When you truly understand, you can come here and actually change everything about who you are. And this is the part that is missing for most people on this earth. But when you die, this part is reunited with you. And this part is the computer that holds all the information of everything else, like all the light and the dark in the universe. It's the computer, it's the memory, it is everything is in this space. And it's hidden from us. It's the forbidden place. It's the forbidden fruit. It is knowledge and wisdom that is kept from us. It shows an image of a demon and an image of an angel. And then it shows me another angel that stands between both, and it rises high above, and the arms stretch down, and they're touching the heads of the demon and the heads of the angel. And this specific angel is closest to God. And above that, you could say, is God. And this is kind of like a very dumbed down version of what this is like. When this angel touches both the light and the dark, it is now closest to God. you will understand God and yourself and what that actually means to you. And to my higher self, is basically saying, God is not above you. God is within you. God is not below you. He is within you. He is not to the left. He's not to the right. He's within you. And when you discover all the knowledge that is held within this aspect of understanding, you understand them. You start to understand the light and the dark and the roles that they play. And you understand that you have to, as a human being, we have access to both, but we're taught not to access the gray, which is all the knowledge and wisdom of who we are and the understanding of who we are. So when we walk that path, we walk a path of learning, of understanding, of growing. But you have to face the light and the dark within yourself. And that is daunting. That is hard. And that is why it is so important that we do this. Because you look at, if you eliminate the gray, you have the light and the dark only. So it's like a third of the knowledge is missing. You need to have that other piece, because it's like trying to read a book and delete every third word. It's like trying to understand the universe and delete a third of the knowledge. And the knowledge that is deleted is the information to teach you the mysteries of the light and the dark. The understanding, the code, so to speak, of the light and the dark. So it's not simply just every third word. It's every third word is essential to understand the first two. So you will not understand the first two unless you have access to the third. Do you know anything that teaches us about the gray? It is almost non-existent. It's not in the Bible. It's not in any text that I know of, or very little information is known about it. It's the part that houses the knowledge that translates both the light and the dark. So a soul that is both light and dark, and has both of those into balance, is the true teachers of this world. But they themselves are kept quiet, are not taken seriously, are ridiculed, are silenced by the light and the dark both, because they don't want that information to go out. Believe it or not, it's not simply just the dark, it's also the light. Nobody wants to hear the truth, because the truth is hard. The truth means that you have to understand both sides, not just one or the other. But pure light wants to stay in the light, and pure darkness wants to stay in the darkness. All they do is ridicule each other instead of understanding one another. When we understand one another, then we're truly able to walk together. So that's the message that my higher self wanted to share with you. It's interesting because there's so much more to that. When you start getting into that meaning of what that is, it is complex. It is so much more complex than both the light or the dark. Even light and dark together, that knowledge is so much more complex. It is a missing link that everyone is seeking but don't know where to look. So where do you look? How do you find it? By peering into your soul, into your heart. To ask to seek the truth, not to simply close your ears to both sides. It's like easy when people say, oh, well, they want the truth, they look only into the light. But when you look into the darkness, they're so afraid of it, they can't see the truth within it. When you start to discover the truth within the darkness, you just discover peace, harmony, quiet. Some of the most quiet places in the universe are in dark places. But there's also other bad things in there, which makes you afraid of it. But when you understand the light, these other things have no effect on you. So then you're able to see in the darkness. And all this is learned through the walk of both, to trying to find the understanding of both. Thank you very much, everyone. And it's a short message, but it's sometimes, well, in this day and age, it's a long message. That's a whole nother topic about the attention span of the human race is down to a 30-second video, or even that is even long now. It's 5 seconds, 10 seconds is the max that the people can tolerate. So I really do appreciate the people that actually listen to my videos, because they start to understand a part of life that is becoming forgotten. And which is really sad, because the way the human race is moving is very concerning. But then you always look back and say, you have to believe that at some point the human race will know and follow the true path. That's what kind of sums it all up. It's hard to watch the human race in the state that it is in now and the direction that it's moving. To understand that there's light, this is the way things are moving, and they could change in a dime. They can go next, it's moving in a different direction. Thank you very much, everyone. And if you wish to do a video with me one-on-one, or talk to me one-on-one, you can go to my website at almondrossawakening.com. I have a new Northern Lights page that is a touring company that I'm kind of doing on the side. It's only Saturday or Friday and Saturday at this point, until I figure out how to expand and how much time I can spend on it. It's yukonskies.com, and I also have my Northern Light page at Almond Ross Awakening, or josephbradleyauroras.com. Too many websites to think about. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful day.